What's up, YouTube? Back again with another comparison video. Actually, our first comparison video. This time I bring you the 2014 AirTech Challenge 2s, the Hot Lava colorway. This colorway was popularized by Andre Agassi, which is basically the first Nike tennis shoe. And this is the most recent reissue of it, the 2014 retro. The second reissue, or the later reissue, was in 2008, so this is the most recent one, 2014. And as you can see on this side, we have the original release back in 1989. Really lucky to find a pair like this, considering the fact that I believe that this were dead stock. For reasons unknown, the care instructions that used to come with the insoles were still located in here, and as you can see, major midsole deterioration. So the whole point of this video is just to give basic information, or just to give you guys a visual comparison of how Nike had changed their technology through the years. Alright, so on this side we pretty much have the 1989 original release. So you can see the deterioration that has happened. Midsole is pretty much gone, and considering the fact that it's not wearable, this will be another SOR project. I'm still looking for donors, and for everybody asking, because I had a lot of people on Instagram ask me if I was going to use the 2014 as a donor. No, I'm not going to be able. I opted not to use the 2014 retro for one reason. I don't believe in using dead stock pairs as donors. I believe that if they're pretty much practically brand new, you know, it's pretty much wear them up tight, and then probably get the beaters is the one I would use, but not too beat, just the mid-range kind of beat. But so let's get into the shoe. All right, so you can see the biggest giveaway for this one is definitely the tongue. Nike had, I don't know if anybody is very familiar, but back in the days, Nike would always emphasize the thickness of the tongue. I don't know if it was to address the comfortability of the pairs that they made, but the tongue was such a big deal back in the late 80s and early 90s. So you can see the thickness and the padding on this tongue is just insanely ridiculous. It's nice and comfy. It's nicely padded, and just like how it feels on feet. Also, another thing, the padding in the collar. Contrary to popular belief, this is probably the skinniest padding I've ever seen when it came to an AirTech Challenge, the AirTech Challenge 2s. It has a nice padding around the coat on the outer layer, but there really isn't no foam padding in there. It's just rigid and stiff. One thing I probably be thinking why it's rigid and stiff is because over the years the leather had probably hardened over time, but it's just ridiculously stiff. That's why it has this nice rigid area and higher panel of the collar. But that's what I'm assuming. Other than that, the comfortability on the collar, not as spectacular as everyone would think. Big thing too is the leather quality. Of course, there is no argument that Nike did use better quality materials back in the days compared to now, but as you can see, the thickness of each layer around the side padding into the insets are ridiculously detailed. As you can see, also cracking is starting to happen on the outer layer, the leather, which is expected for a pair this old, but we didn't really complain on it. Also, a big difference in, well, what I see is that the color of the lava print has the more neon kind of accent rather than a flat painted accent. Kind of pops out, and it really shows the details of the shoe, including the Nike paint and the tongue panels. All look like it's in a more neon accent rather than just a flat reddish orange accent. Very lucky to find a pair in this condition because this came with the original insole, and the insole is fully intact. But another plus to this is it came with a how to care for an insole warning label, and it's just amazing what it says in there. Now I'll read it to you guys. It basically says that the care instruction for this is that you should not use bleach, do not dry clean, you gotta hang to dry, and machine wash. So I mean, how many people still out there clean their insoles? It's just ridiculous. Now these days we replace our insoles, we add, you know, we add new insets, we do different insoles replacement, but we never wash insoles as much. Maybe that's just me, but I don't know about you guys, but this is just ridiculous to find that this Nike actually lets you have the instruction to wash your own insoles. So that's a plus on this pair. Alright, so let's go to 2014. Big release. Well, in my opinion, it was a big release. I was actually looking forward for this pair since I wasn't able to get a 2008. But I would have to admit that Nike actually made this a quick strike. I was not sure in 2008 if it was a quick strike, but this time it was actually a quick strike pair. So it was limited to a certain amount of pairs rather than a general release. So I was kind of happy about that. But the thing about that, what I wasn't really happy was the comparison. I mean, of course, you can't. It's like comparing apples and oranges completely. But I wish they had the details of some of the shoe closer to 2008 rather than completely changing it off. One thing I've seen that's a big difference is the back panel hump. I don't know where this came from, but for some reason, a lot of people has been telling me that the back panel hump came from the Air Yeezy 2 construction, which to me just sounds ridiculous that Nike would actually panel it for a pair that and change it up completely for an Air Yeezy 2 comparison. But that's what I'm just hearing from people. I'm not sure this is 100%, but that back panel hump is what got me, because the originals never had that. It had a straight panel. So I don't know where this came from. I don't know if the 2008 had it, but it's looking like this one is out of the blue. So thank Nike for that one. And then another thing is the lava print. For some reason, lava print is more, they use an acrylic type of paint that makes it shinier. I don't know if the OGs had a shiny finish to it, but I believe that it could also possibly that over time the paint had faded on that leather. So can't really decide, but the paint that they use is a little darker. It's more of a deep red orange rather than neon orange kind of look. So that's what I'm seeing as a difference. Nike was using the hard plastic hang tag, and this one is the thin little Nike Air hang tag. Usually came with shirts, and I would say the retro 1999 pairs I've seen and earlier. So that's a big difference to it. Is that a big deal to me? Nah, not really. I mean, I just like the fact that it came with the ones. I was kind of happy with it. Another thing is that the tongue. Nike decided to go completely opposite and switch tongue size. So that's the difference. The 2008 probably had a bigger padding, slightly bigger, but no big difference. And that's what I see is the only difference with the tongue height and this one with OG. So of course, like I said, it's comparing apples and oranges. Can't complain. But I have to give it to Nike that Their attention to detail on the lining and stitching was on point on this one, and I like that part. Now, the big thing too is the height. Compared to originals, the tongue height doesn't really fly above the side panel and the collar. So that's one thing I don't like. I'm actually pulling far enough up front, and this is how far that tongue comes up. So I'm not really happy with that, because it kind of like messes with the aesthetic of the shoe, but that's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. If you guys have a different opinion about that, make sure you comment below. And another big deal, Nike also changed their insole. You can see the bold padding. It's a little skinnier now. The original one were bolder. This one was skinnier. And yes, they don't have that little how to take care of your insole instruction. Go figure, right? And other than that, the shoe is pretty solid. I like it. I'm not really too much as impressed as, you know, the early releases, as I do collect pairs later in the 2000, but I'm pretty happy with this. But unfortunately, I might be parting with this pair, so this pair might actually go on sale one of these days. Yeah, they are dead stock, never worn, never nothing. The whole point of this was to actually do a comparison video and a comparison shot with the 1989s. So I am looking for a 2008 pair, and because I believe that the 2014 midsole won't likely have that same rigidness as the 2008, and therefore will be harder to midsole swap with a 1989 pair. Hope you guys were entertained with that. It's like we have more projects coming in. I know this will be a big project, and because I have not seen a lot of documented AirTech Challenge shoe swaps, so this will be a future project soon, and this is probably going to be one of the I would say our second non-Air Jordan swap, midsole swap. We do have another one coming in. Stay tuned for that. Anyways, thanks for watching.